There is no country on earth that gives immigrants the opportunity to make things happen like this country. So I'm encouraging immigrants coming into America, be audacious, don't be afraid, be stubborn. When I also ask my own self, if I had decided 10 years ago to start pursuing my purpose, would I still be here? The worst pain a human being can go through, I call it a triple threat, is getting old, sick, and broke. Aging is natural. That will come for all of us. Sick, you can delay it a little bit, but broke is in your hands. No. You cannot outsource that one.
So when you first arrived here, what would you say are the cultural differences that you had to adapt to be able to start, following your own path of building wealth here in America?
Wonderful. Of course, there are many cultural differences, right? But I'll just touch on some of the key ones. There are certainly the basic cultural differences of just the environment, right? The largesse of the environment, the weather changes, the way people behave, eye contact, those cultural sensitive things. There is all of that. But apart from that, some of the big cultural differences to me, in fact, the most important one was the fact that America is a country that encourages you to be assertive, encourages you to invest in yourself, believe in yourself, and open your chest and stand up and say, I am who I think I am. Because the culture we come from is a culture that shuns on assertiveness. It's a culture where as a young person you talk about certain kinds of dreams and they hush you down because of the nature of the socio-economic nature of the continent we come from. Sometimes the necessity for survival eliminates any ability to dream. You see, everything great in this life has been built on the back of dreams. There is no way you can tell me that it is normal human behavior to imagine that you could create an airplane to fly from Lagos to Atlanta. It doesn't make sense. Why would a human being think like that? But the few that think like that, it's because by some means there is an environment that permits them to even aspire to think like that. I don't know if I make sense. Now, what that really means is that for us as immigrants, especially younger people coming into America, be audacious. Don't be afraid. Think the biggest dream you can ever think about and start working on it. I take myself, for example. I always use this example, right? I reflect about it a lot. I worked in IT the last 11 years. Great industry. When I came to America, I became a nurse. I became an LVN. I worked as a nurse for many years. I still have my nursing license, a proud LVN here. Nurses do incredible work, right? I did that for a few years. I raised about $90,000 cash. I went down to the University of Berkeley and pursued a graduate degree in business and international marketing. Mind you, University of California and Berkeley is one of the 4 top business schools in the world. I finished from there. I went back to Africa, did business in Cameroon, Congo, Nigeria, distributing natural health products, working with my uncle, network marketing. I was a marketing director. I did that for 3 years. It didn't work out. I was bankrupt. I lost everything. I filed for foreclosure. That's when I closed my homes. I paid about 100 and something to bankruptcy court. I was finished. I came back to the US, right? And then I went into IT school, completed my IT studies, got a job in Texas, moved to Texas. And for the first time at the age of about 34, I started making 6-figure income, which at that point, even till today, only 13% of America makes 6 figures. So it's not a big deal, but it's kind of a big deal. Okay? That is not the reason why I'm sharing this story. The reason I'm sharing this story is because I worked in IT for many years, and not too long ago, about 2.5 years ago, I got laid off from my job, right? And not only getting laid off, but the way I got laid off, I felt humiliated, I felt hurt, I felt angry with myself for ever giving somebody the permission to feed me. But now this is what that did to me, right? And why I am sharing this story. I'm sharing this story to say what? To say for the first time in my life, I am working on what I believe is my calling and my purpose. What that means, Pastor Vidal and Mama Christine, it's a simple question I asked myself. I said, okay, Gustav, when I was working in IT, I was paid good money, right? With my bonuses and everything, there were years I made $200,000. The real question is, are you telling yourself, Gustav, that if you invest 9 to 10 hours a day, 5 days a week for 1 year or 2 years, or at that point, I'd already worked for other people for 18 years. not to talk of 18 years of my life. Will I be able to generate $200,000 from my own ingenuity or not? The answer was, I will be able to generate $20 million. I don't know if it makes sense, Pastor Vida. Now, and the reason why I'm sharing this, I'm trying to tie it together, is to make any young, even an older immigrant coming into America understand that it is still possible. There is no country on earth that gives immigrants the opportunity to make things happen like this country. Hey guys, just a brief break from regular programming. You see, most human beings, if you really go deep into their heart's desire, they want three things. They want to live a life of growth and development in order to be relevant. They want to be able to build wealth and also leave behind a legacy that will last for perpetuity. In my Guarantee Your Legacy program, which is a custom designed program, I answer these three questions and more for you. I have limited availability on that program. It's an 8-week program whereby we meet once a week one-on-one with me. In addition to that, I'll walk through the different critical things that you need to be able to grow as a person, to be able to become relevant, to be able to impact people in order to create a legacy. And in doing that, you can also build wealth. If you already have it, I can teach you how to protect it, preserve it, so that way it lasts for perpetuity. Don't hesitate. If you would like to learn more about that program, click on the link down in the description section of this video, and I sure will see you on the inside. Let's go back to the regular programming. There's a story I've shared quite a few times. I have a pair of boots I bought $275. I love boots. And I'd used it for about 9 years, and the sole, you have that one thing which you have this emotional tie to the thing. Mama Christy, don't be jealous. I'm not saying that he loves his shoes more than you. I am just saying. So I love this shoe, and the sole was beaten. So I took it to a shoe repair shop to repair that shoe. And as I walked into the shop, I started talking to the owner. I said, "How are you?" He said, "Fine." And he looked at the shoe, told me he's going to replace the front sole, the back sole, he will polish it up, all that stuff is going to cost $168,000. Mind you, I bought it $275 and I was going to spend $168 to repair the shoe. But that is not the big deal. What really hit me was, I asked the guy, "How long have you been doing this business?" He told me about 12 years. I said, "Okay, do you have any other store other than this?" He told me he's in the process of opening a fit store. In my mind, immediately, Pastor Vidal, I knew that this guy is a millionaire from repairing shoes. So some guy will come from Anambra State, some guy will come from Edo, some guy will come from Cameroon, from Senegal, from Ghana, from Liberia. His skill for 20 years was repairing shoes. And you come to America and now you are trying to go to nursing school. Maybe you don't naturally have the intellect to understand science. You are failing out, and then you start feeling humiliated, you start feeling hurt because you are not making it and you feel like you're being disrespected. Meanwhile, there is a skill that you have. You've developed for 20 years, and now you are in a country where all you need to do is to go on your community Facebook page, like my community here. That page has 7,000 people in my community. Yours probably have more in Fort Worth. You tell people that, "Hey, there is a guy here in this address who repairs shoes. Bring your shoes, I'll repair them." And start seeing the business coming. So we need to think as immigrants when we're coming to America. I say we need to be courageous, because until you are courageous and audacious, you will not think like that. You only try to go the traditional, the ways that you've been trained for many years to follow, which is only the safe way. Go this way, go do this, then come out and do this and do this and do this. Pastor Vida, do you know that yesterday morning, the city of Georgetown, which is where I live, they sent my city bill. My bill has always been averaging about $240. Boom, they sent me a bill, $1,100. I called the city, I'm fuming. Listen, I don't want to hear. You guys, they say, "No, Mr. Achu, we're going to send somebody out to check your meter." Maybe we are wrong. Send somebody out, checks my meter. "Mr. Achu, we're sorry, your meter is running. There might be a leak in your house." There's no leak. I don't hear it. But there was a leak, a quiet leak in the toilet up in my children's room. I finally got this guy to come in. He gave me a 7-day appointment because he's so busy. He comes in yesterday morning, 9 a.m. in the morning. He goes to my children's room, looks at it, he says, "Oh, there's a leak here." He goes to his car, picks up something, repairs it, come down to the guest room, check it, repairs a small flap. "Mr. Achu, your bill is $350, 22 minutes, 14 seconds later." Oh my God. I don't know if I'm talking to somebody here. Not too long ago, I'll give you another simple example. Not too long ago, about 4 months ago, my fridge had a problem. I called the not insurance, these people warranty company, and they told me, Mr. Achu, that fridge is 7 years old. We can only pay $300 on it. I said, no problem. Send me the 300. I called the fridge repairer. The guy comes, looks at the fridge, and he says it's going to cost $800. I get the $300 from the warranty people. I add 500 to it. I get the repairer. He comes over. Within 20 minutes, he has ordered the compressor chamber. He comes in about 19 minutes, 40 seconds. He changes the chamber, and I drop him $800. The chamber is about, I can't remember, maybe $450 or something, right? And then I get chatting with this guy because I always love to talk to people. I get chatting with this guy. I say, hey, how many appointments a day do you have? He told me on bad days he has about 7 appointments. On good days, I could do about 11, 12 appointments. I said, really? He said, yes. I said, okay. Now it makes sense to me. As we walked out to drop him off, because when he came, he told me he was a little bit delayed because his truck had a problem, so he had to use his wife's car. And as I walked him out to his car, he had to jump into his wife's Cadillac Escalade. Now I understood why, because within 19 minutes, he has already made $450. I, as an IT professional at that point, I wasn't making $450 in 19 minutes. Okay? I can give you tons of examples like that. Even the guy who unlocked my lock at the storage when my key got lost, he came and messed up and opened the lock for me, right? Within less than 15, 20 minutes, I paid him $110. He averages about 7, 8 appointments a day. What are we talking about? That is $800 a day times 4. 800 times 4, that's about $2,400. No, $3,200 a week times 4 weeks. That is about $12,800 a month. Pastor Vida, what are we talking about? Right? So I'm encouraging immigrants coming into America, be audacious. Don't be afraid. Be stubborn. Be stubborn. And I'll say that because when I also ask my own self, if I had decided 10 years ago to start pursuing my purpose, would I still be here? It would take some sacrifice, I don't deny. It would take you going through some pain. But you know what the worst pain? I call it a triple threat. The worst pain a human being can go through is getting old, sick, and broke. Aging is natural. That will come for all of us. Sick, you can delay it a little bit. But broke is in your hands. No. You cannot outsource that one.
Exactly.